Morning, good morning. Big up my people. What's good? What's good? It's your boy MarkN, MUFC fan, and you know what it is. It's me back with the morning views. I've been on vacation, guys. Went to Spania. Went to enjoy a little bit of hot sun and get some warmth. Enjoy the vibes. Get a relaxation. Was a terrible, frustrating week for Manchester United. But guys, you know what I like to say? You know, it's not all bad. There's some production, there's some progression, there's some performance. The players did well on the last Sunday, and it was one of those things where we lost, but it was one of those games where we should have won. It's too many times this season that these referees are taking the game away from us, and it's one of those things we're already having not so great a season, but for us to also be in a position to win and not lose it because we were bad, but lose it because you know someone decides it's not our day. It's a bit hard. It's a bit hard. Some people might feel top five is out and away from us. We're not gonna make that chance anymore. It might be possible, guys. It might not. Mathematically, it's still there on the cards, but we're definitely gonna need teams to drop a massive amount of points. We're talking about the teams above us need to lose at least 3 games in the next 3 games, and we need to also win. It's going to be a tough call, but you know what? At the end of the day, guys, we've seen it all and we've heard it all. We are Manchester United fans and we've won a lot and we've seen a lot of victories. Sometimes, it might just be our time where we got to hold a little pain and a growing pain so that we can get back to that top of dynasty dominance once again. Guys, it's a good morning. It's Tuesday. What are you guys up to? How are you feeling? I see my buddy Yarley's coming in. Big up to you. Stephanie Griffith is already in here. You know what, guys? Let's get the show on the road. Big up, big up, big up. And I see Yarley's coming in. Good morning. There are 5 United players that has their contracts up in the summer. Varane, Martial, Heaton, Williams, and Evans. Heaton and Evans are retiring. Have United triggered Varane's clause? I don't know. But that's one of the things that we're looking into soon. And we'll be doing a video tomorrow, guys, where I'm going to be looking at all the players possibly leaving the club based on contracts and based on, maybe they're going to be moved out. Big up to all of you. What's going on? Big up to you, Stephanie. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a good one. Oh no, Ronaldo? What have you done? Is he going to jail? Who Ronaldo are you talking about, Yali? Which Ronaldo are you talking about? Big up to you, my bro. Big up to you, Vegeta. Guys, if you want to come in and have your say, I'm just going to give my little bit of opinion on the game. As you know, I was away, so I didn't have the reaction. So this morning, I'm just going to talk about it a little bit and talk about some things that might be going on. What's going on with you. Big up to you, Kenny Fan TV. The Aussie winter is coming up. We need more wingers. Do we need more wingers? I don't know. But one of the things I would like to say is that the wingers that we have are currently they're performing decently. You can't be too mad. Maybe not, Rashford so much, but the other guys, Garnacho, game after game, very, very dangerous, consistently performing. Of course, he's going to get some mistakes and he's going to, maybe make some bad decisions, but a young guy, 19 years old, you got to expect that from the kid. When you look at, he has Hoyland backing him up, another youngster, it's going to have those games where he doesn't have the great performances. Another youngster, Kobe Mainu, showing up just 18. You know what I mean? Big goal from him. Arguing last night with Ronald about the goal, but at the same time, I'm not saying that it's not a great goal. This was an amazing goal. But Bruno, El Capitano, Captain Magnifico with the long ranger, one-time shot, not even a chance by the keeper to save. Back of the net, had to be amazing. I told you, man. You know what I'm saying, guys? You know, Bruno Fernandes, I'm not saying he's the greatest midfielder at United, but he's a very good player and he comes in consistently. And when we need him, he's there. Big up to you, Vachita. What's going on, bro? Wagwan star. Everything good this morning? Yeah, I hope all is well. If you want to pop in, bro, you can pop in. You have the key. So what you saying? Stephanie's coming in, dropping 7 points from winning positions in the last 3 games. Could be very costly, but we still have 15 wins in the bag. Can we get to at least 20 in total? And you never know. Exactly what I'm saying is exactly what I'm saying, Steph. It's a difficult one, but you know what could happen? Anything can happen in the next 7 games. It's one of those things. Big up to you guys coming in. Don't forget to smash the likes and subscribe if you're new. Help the channel grow. And those of you on X, don't forget to give a retweet. Big up to all of you. CR7, he assaulted a player with his elbow. Yeah, I saw that clip, Yali, but that's not that serious, man. I don't think he should be going to jail based on that. I think that would be a travesty against football. What are you saying, Yali? It wasn't that serious. I've seen worse. We've seen worse in the Premier League. You know what I mean? I think he put his elbow out to block the guy from coming and brushing up upon him, giving him that body check or whatever the case is. Maybe it looked a little bit, suspect. I'm not going to dispute that. But at the same time, it's CR7, guys. Why do we want to see this guy in jail? I don't think it's anything to be talking about of that scale. But you never know. He's in a different country and the rules there could be very stringent, could be a different situation. You never know what could be happening. So, guys, big up to all of you coming in. Hope you're all having a great day. So, guys, what are your thoughts on the current standings and what things might be? Where can we sit? I don't know how you are feeling. You know what I mean? Big up to you, Kenny Fan TV. I'm not sure how you're feeling, but the performances definitely need to get better, guys. It's one of those things where who could have predicted that we were gonna be 2-1 up after at Liverpool against Liverpool after going a goal down? You know what I mean? The Reds were showing a performance that, in my honest opinion, we started the game decently, then we conceded, and then we lost control for like 20 minutes or so. Then Bruno came in with that equalizer, and then we went 2-1 up. And then when we went 2-1 up, it was one of those things where it always looked like Man United were the next team to score another goal. And all of a sudden, this easy, cheap freebie that the referee decided to give. I hope that he's going to be, castrated in the community of rest for doing such a shoddy job because it was sincerely poor, officiating from the ref. And while as a Man United fan, it's one of those things you have to expect week in, week out that the ref is not going to be in your favor. It's one of those things where it's very possible that, it could be a huge factor in where we sit at the moment. Could you imagine? I'm not sure if you've seen the clips of when Palestri was scythed down, you know, by Tottenham player Davies when we were playing against them. No call. The referee said to get up. More contact than was given again for Harvey Elliott. But you know what? The guy is not wearing a United shirt, so it's a penalty all day. Big up, big up. They have made clips of Anthony and Mainu goals. They are copies of each other. One of a thing, bro. Yes, it's very, very nice. Not only that, but it's also overlaying the clip of the Marchetta goal way back when he came on as a substitute and scored that beautiful goal to take us. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of big moments we have in the season. That overhead kick from Garnacho was another great moment. That volley from Bruno against Burnley was another one with the lob over the top from Johnny Evans. We've had a lot of great moments this season, and could we finish it strongly with a lot more good moments? I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping for that. A lot of fans might come in and say, well, we didn't do this well. We deserve to lose this and that. The defense, the midfield was open. But guys, I'm not trying to make excuses for the manager, but if you look at the circumstances of the situation, we have players in the defense who before, we seen that amazing performance from Kombala. Yeah, guys, I've been talking about Kombala for months and months now. But at the same time, maybe he was not ready yet. Now he's up to the task and he's showing that performance, kind of like Mainu comes into the squad, gives a good performance, comes in again, gets another good performance, and he starts this game. What a great performance from the kid. Dominant on the ground, dominant in his challenges, winning all his duels. What a performance from the youngster. Could we see him grabbing that center back spot that we've been thinking and hammering on this season? Maybe we were needing Todibo to come in. Is it going to be the Kwambala show, guys? Because you know what I've been saying? Yeah, we want a Todibo, but this youngster, he fits the same profile. He's of the same height, same build, same kind of ability on the ball. He's got pace. He can play the high line. Very good decision maker, mature in his play, very confident when he's on the ball. And you can see the performances, guys. So it's one of those things where I just urge you guys, take the time. Don't just be like, we need to buy 10 million players. We need to sell 10 million players. It's one of those things where it could be that we just need some time. You know what I mean? The manager may be needing time. The squad may be needing some time. And at the same time, guys, look at it from this perspective, right? Who's to say that next season might not be the season where we have our breakout and we're competing at the top once again. We're doing really well. You know what I mean? We could sit here and say, oh, the performances aren't great. But we could also sit here and say, well, we don't have the best players for the positions to fit the system. I hear a lot of people talking about Deserby. I mean, what has Deserby done to deserve all this fandom? You know what I mean? Like, everyone is saying if Deserby had better players, he'd be a better coach. But Ten Hag is not good. Ten Hag has finished above Deserby twice in his 2 seasons. Deserby, in the meanwhile, they both started together at Manchester at the same time in the Premier League. But, what has Deserby done? Basically, he's done nothing. He hasn't been successful. He hasn't been as successful as Ten Hag. He hasn't, finished in the top 4 in any season. You know what I mean? So, and he's still in Ten Hag's worst season. Ten Hag is 6th, and De Zerbi's where? You know what I mean? He's fighting in the middle table. So, guys, let's not look too far down the road. Let's not be the dog over the lake with a bone, looking at what in our reflection and trying to get a double up when you see we're going to lose it. It's one of those things. When our Manu Tata, when our player scores a beauty, you don't sub him with 50 minutes to go, including extra time, more chance. Yeah, but sometimes it's not like that. You gotta remember that these players are young. There's 3 games in the week. Garnacho needs to rest. If he pulls up and gets a bad injury, you're gonna say bad management from the manager, Manu Tata. You know what I mean, bro? So you can't just say he should have done this and he should have done that. I think the manager is doing the best with what he has and the opportunity and the players available to him. AWB gambled. He didn't touch the ball. When you go in for a tackle like that, you need to make sure you hit the ball. If not, the other player runs into your leg and it becomes a no, Yali. That's not true at all, bro. Like, a penalty is not because you make contact with a player. A penalty is because you tackle the player and you take him out. There's nothing about just contact. That just contact. This is a contact sport. You're bumping into people. You might get kicked. You might kick someone. It's how football works. You know what I mean? Your feet don't have eyes. So even if you in the process of kicking a ball and someone was to just put their foot in front of it, they're gonna get kicked. It's a risk that they're taking. They're not. It's not something that you can just say pause, or you can just tell your foot come back. You know what I mean? It doesn't work like that, bro. It's abnormal. Big up to you, mental. Hope you're having a good morning. You know what I mean? Everyone is enjoying the day. I feel like it's not so bad a performance this week. We lost to Chelsea, but it was one of those things. They got 2 penalties in the game. Both of them were super soft. You know, Yali, I know what you're saying, but that's not the point. You listen. From the moment Harvey Elliott plays the ball to the left, and Wan-Bissaka doesn't touch him, he is out of possession of the ball because the ball is going away from him. Yeah, Wan-Bissaka doesn't protest because he's a beanhead, bro. You know what I'm saying? He needs to protest there. At the same time, not protesting doesn't mean he's guilty. Not protesting doesn't mean that he's innocent. At the same time, you could see it. This is why we have VAR. And if the VAR is not there to do its job, what's the point of it? What's the point? We've seen worse tackles on United players all season long against Arsenal. Twice at the Emirates, we've seen it. We've even seen a rugby tackle, right? And it's called not enough contact. So, Yali, it's hard pressed. I understand where you're coming from. But to make that hard pressed argument that there's contact, there's so much games where there's contact with a United player. Look at what happened to Garnacho against Man City. We didn't get the pen. The ball was already gone, and he got all Garnacho. He never touched the ball. So if it doesn't work for us, if our players can't get a pen, right, then why is these players getting a pen? Oh, because we can see there's contact. It's like it's funny, man, because I feel like we're making all the excuses for our players to give away a penalty, for them to have to be perfect every single step they make. But other players can make mistakes. Other players can get an easy penalty. Other teams are more deserving of these things. It's insane to me, man. I can't put my finger on it, but yeah, for me, it's not one of those things. I'm not going to argue. A pen has to be one of those things where you tackle a player and you take him out. Like, when you tackle him, there's no way he could have stayed on his feet. There's no way he could have maintained possession, but he was already in possession and you didn't get the ball. That's a penalty. This is why I don't like all these little intent and subjectivity with fouls. When you tackle a player in the open midfield, there's a big difference. Why? And the fact that people say if it would have been a foul in the midfield is insane, because in the penalty area, in order to prevent the mentality of I'ma just drop every time someone touches me, this is why it's harder to get a foul in the penalty area than it is outside. It should never be the same. The same foul outside should never be the same foul in a penalty area. It should be more grievous. It always must be a harder tackle. You can't be giving away easy games, easy goals to teams. It's not football. We've never had that before. All the best, all the brightest, all the greats, all the amazing games we've seen, they have never been soft penalties as these. So when people say to me, this is part of it's not. We are making it part of the game. We are giving these referees the ability to make these shoddy penalty decisions because we as fans aren't pushing back. Maybe because it's not our team, but we're not pushing back hard enough as fans. Because back in the day, to get a penalty, you had to do a lot. You had to really be cut out. You had to really be siphed down in the box, taken out. Now, someone could just touch your leg and you go, oh, penalty, penalty. Bro, it's sickening, man. It's sickening. Ronaldo? No, which Ronaldo? Steph. Ronaldo is not a flopper, bro. If it's one thing, Steffi. Ronaldo, maybe Henri. The French always had their favorite diving abilities. But Ronaldo, even Salah is a diver compared to Ronaldo. I see some tackles Ronaldo is get so many tough tackles and don't get the penalties. We've seen it in the season that he was here. So many scythe down tackles all over the box, outside. No foul, get up. You know what I mean? Why it is only with United you see the ref telling players, get up. Why is it only United a player could react to getting a yellow card and get a second yellow in less than 15 seconds? It's insane. 100% Sachiv. This is a positive. We didn't capitulate the game after getting robbed our penalty early. You know what I mean? It's one of those things for me, like these little moments in the game, these little bits and bobs. I mean, everyone will say your standards low, but I don't see it like that because I feel like a lot of people forget we are a team in a rebuild. And yes, this is the manager's second season. So why it is we being so critical of the manager? Is there a template to success? Not really, because At the end of the day, he could do all the things right and still don't achieve the perfect result. Like this is the reason why there's so many multi-platinum music producers, while there are like millions more producers who not doing as well. You know what I mean? It's all about different strokes for different folks in some occasions, and it's football is the funny thing. It's not always linear because look at Liverpool last season. Liverpool was in sixth. They was as low as 11th last season for like about 2 months in 11th. People thought they was finishing sub 10. And then look at Liverpool this season. And everyone is Klopp is the king. Klopp is the GOAT. Mental ball game. I would just say this to you, right? This is just my honest opinion, right, bro? Unless a player is taken out by your tackle, and when I say taken out, means that he was taken off his feet. There was no way he could continue to maintain standing balance. Then it's a pen. Unless, other than that, never a pen for me. You know why? Because this at when a, if someone mashes your toe, that doesn't constitute you falling to the ground, bro. Let me be real about some things. And these soft penalties, they are disgusting. They're disgraceful to watch because no one touched Chaloba, whatever his name is, or Chukamwezi, whatever his name is. He never was touched. He was never fouled. He just dropped to the ground because he felt Dalo looked like he brushed him, and everybody would think he was touched, and he just fell. It's insane. You know what I mean? Chelsea got lucky in my opinion because they just like what Liverpool in my opinion. After United take the lead, they had no hope. They were out of the game. All this talk about Cole Palmer, Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer was head dropped down, didn't know what to do. Suddenly they got a penalty. Suddenly he scored the penalty. Second goal of the game, second penalty of the game. And guess what? Lucky shot, aimed at nowhere, just struck in towards the box. A deflection of McTominay. And people celebrating like this dude is world class. My goodness. I've never seen such travesty in my life. Anthony Taylor deserves to be suspended, and I hope they don't pay him. And I hope this is just the first of many suspensions to come because you know what? It was a travesty the way he robbed Manchester United against Chelsea. Those two penalties were disgusting. And even Dermot McGallagher, the man who always against us, was like, those were soft. It's a surprise that they were given. So, mental, you might disagree with me, but the one guy who always hates on Man United, Dermot McGallagher, he disagrees with you. You know what I'm saying? Because he agrees with what I'm saying. Because he says that penalty should not have been. We got lucky twice against Liverpool recently. They didn't take their chances, fortunately. However, we showed fight and spirit, which compensates for our lack of composure and game control. Steph, that's a little bit weird to say that we got lucky twice. You know, for me, sports is a funny thing. The result is the result, and it's usually what it is. Now, the only reason I be mad about some results is when it's like you see the game against Arsenal when we were at the Emirates when this guy Gabriel wraps his arm around Hoyland and drives him to the ground because he was already past beaten in the box, no penalty. You see Garnacho's heading towards the goal, onside, passing. All of a sudden, it's ruled offside. These are the things where I would complain about and feel unlucky by. But in most situations, I feel like the results are the results, you know, and that's what I'm saying. Dodgy penalty. Yo, I listen to me, bro. If it's one thing, if you're watching watch along streams, I could tell you this. I always call it out. Whether if we got dodgy penalty, I just say it. Because at the end of the day, bro, I being real. Big up to you, John Morgan. Hope you're having a good day. Mental, what you saying, my youth? I know you come to dispute me, but hope you having a good morning.
No, no, no. Good morning, mate. Hope your Spain trip was good.
Chilling, chilling.
Yeah. I just wanted to say on the penalties, right? Uh, I just look at penalties and see. if the teams were reversed, if this was my player being fouled, would I want a penalty there? And if I want a penalty, I can live with that decision.
Night, night.
So, looking at the Chelsea penalties, right? I can live with those decisions because if my player was the one attacking and he got fouled that way, I would definitely want a penalty there. But looking at the Liverpool one, I don't believe they gave that penalty, man. Yes, Van Bissaka was rash, but he did not even touch Elliot. There was no contact. The contact was initiated by Elliot. So I can't believe that they actually allowed that penalty.
I mean, well, the Wan-Bissaka penalty for me was almost identical to the Dallo penalty. The only difference is Dallo trip and fell.
Yeah,
Dallo
the,
trip
the,
and
the only
fall.
difference there is that Dallo is behind the attacker and the attacker is going on pace, and even a small contact can
No, no,
actually
no.
put you off balance.
Not like that, bro. Come on, bro. You're running with 2 feet. It's not like if you get a hard push or anything like that. A small contact. Yeah, but Dallo didn't even make contact with his feet. So therefore, that shouldn't throw him off balance. And if a hand, as a footballer, I don't know about you, bro, but if someone hand press against me while I run in, it's not enough to push me off balance. It had to be like a real strong force, bro. Like, or it had to be like a force in a position, like he clipped my ankle or something like that on his way. But Dallo never touched his feet or anything. So the way he fell was unorthodox. If he was if for somebody who was tripped, if the trip, you have to fall forward. You don't fall down when you get tripped. You understand what I'm saying? Mental ball game.
No,
So
I totally get your viewpoint, man. I understand why you're saying it's not a penalty. And it's one of those where if it was not given, I would probably agree with that as well. But if it was given, I can live with that decision. That's what I'm saying. It's not something that I will argue about that why was it given. It wasn't the worst decision. But
actually,
I
it
have to
was
say,
because, in my honest opinion, is so, okay, for me, and for perspectively speaking, a penalty have to be clear. Like it have to the contact have to be clearly stop or impede his movement in a clear way. It can't be subjective because
the only thing there is, Mark, I totally agree with what you're saying. The only thing there is because it was given on field. And because VAR works on this joke concept that it has to be a clear and obvious, which is a very subjective thing, they 99% of the time don't overrule the on field referee.
I
So if the
mean,
referee hadn't given it, I'm convinced it wouldn't have been given.
and that
But
is why I
because
say
the
it's not a
referee
pen.
gave it, and that referee was awful. The referee in the Chelsea match was awful. He didn't give us a single decision. Even the 60-40, 70-30 decisions that were in our favor, he gave all the decisions to Chelsea. The refereeing in that match was awful, man. Yes, we imploded, but the refereeing was awful, literally awful.
I think the referee took that game away from us, and I being real honest when I say that it's like the game again. For me, that Chelsea game remind me of the game against Copenhagen when the player ran behind Rashford and put his foot where Rashford obviously can't see, and Rashford step on it by accident, and he get a red card for dangerous play. That's insane for me. You know what I mean? Now,
Yeah,
people might say that was dangerous to the player and he did step on the player, but I feel like people forget football is a contact sport. And these things are part of the game. Is you're taking a risk from the moment you sign up to play football. You're taking a risk of possibly breaking your ankle, breaking some toes, you know pulling out damaging a ligament here or there, pulling hamstrings. These are things that are already all listed in the possible occurrences that could happen to you being a footballer. So it's not all fun and roses where people, you don't get tackled or you don't get these things. You might not fall on a stone or you might not fall and hurt yourself badly just by falling. You might jump and be off balance and fall on someone's leg and possibly end their career by you didn't intend to do that. And you wouldn't get a red card for that because I've seen it. Like a lot of people, like, I don't know if they watch a lot of football, but you know, young Landon Donovan was was one of those players. He was lucky to have a football career because at 19 he played a game against Trinidad under 20, and he went up for a challenge, and he literally swung his elbow out at a player and broke his neck, and he wasn't sent to jail. There was no uproar by anybody about it. In fact, the uproar was that they was going to take away his chance of playing football because they ruled it as a intentional act. And America was like, how they would do this, blah blah blah. And eventually, he ended up at Bayern Munich. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things where people, it's like you gotta look at it from different perspectives. And yeah, you could want something to be a certain way, or you have this idea that it should be like this, but only in basketball, when you make contact with someone's hand, is a foul, and that's because basketball is a non-contact sport. But football, what I mean, it have lots of risk. It's like rugby. Rugby is a full contact sport, and you could get
Hmm.
tackled, and if you don't release the ball properly, or if you don't fall properly, you could damage yourself greatly. So it's one of those things.
No, I agree, but and we have to agree, we've got some horrendous refereeing decisions against us this season. Even the penalty that we conceded against City, Hoyland holding, was it Rodri or someone? He was just holding him with his arm, and we haven't seen any penalty given since for that, and that happens every set piece in the Premier League match. It was just Hoyland who was punished for it. That penalty was ridiculous, and we've had some really really horrendous decisions given against us this season. So referees have definitely shafted us, man, but not as bad as Wolves though. Wolves have had really really bad luck.
Yeah. And mental is for me like people might be say I real biased to United. I am a United fan, and I could be real biased to United. To be fair, I being real honest, but certain things for me, I look at objectively as a football fan. It's not good for the game. It's not healthy for the sport. You know what I mean? These things happening might be amazing and great, and yeah, you have luck on your side. But when you look at the sport in general, it's suffering. And right now the Premier League suffering. Like
It's
people are
and
talking
it's not
about.
even the Premier League, Mark. It's happening all over the leagues. Did you look at that Steven Bergwijn punch in the Ajax match yesterday? He literally punched the guy in the back of the head while both of them were running. The guy fell on the floor. VAR had a look and said no card. That was literally assault. I mean, the similar thing happened in Premier League earlier this season. If you remember, Bruno Guimaraes punched, I think it was Jorginho against Arsenal. He
Hmm.
punched him in the back of the head, and VAR said no red card. They are allowing assault on the field now. VAR is a total joke, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and it's only certain teams will get these calls because they have an agenda to push. And I'm saying it like that because bro, I just go and watch German leagues, League Two and thing, this team in the city that I live in here, called Fortuna Dusseldorf. They're trying to make it to the Bundesliga 1. And it's be watching some of the ways that they're dealing with things here in Germany. And to me, I feel like in some countries, VR is work. You know what I mean? And it's work well. In the Champions League, I find VR does work really well in some instances.
The technology itself is good. The technology works. It's the people working the technology who are tools, man. They don't know how to take decisions. They have no football knowledge, or even if they have football knowledge, like in Premier League, right? There's people who are in the referee association, whatever PGMOL or whatever they call themselves these days. Those are the players who are those are the people who are sitting in the VAR as well. So they're shit scared to overrule anything that their friend has given on-field decision. 99% of the time they will go with the on-field decision even when they can see it with their eyes that the decision is wrong, just because they don't want to upset the apple cart. That's the whole thing. They need to bring in independent people to look at the VAR. If it's the same people who are on the field one day before, and then they go and sit in the VAR room and they are friends with the people who are refereeing the match, they are not going to go against them.
100%, 100%. And you know what, guys? Is it was just I just wanted to come on and have my little bit of say on the football scene and what was going on this weekend because I was a little bit disappointed with the result. In the grand scheme of things, we got 2 points. We got 2 points, but we should have had six. In my opinion, it was tough. I can't really fault the guys to be fair, and I just go and say it like this. Sure, the manager might could have made some better decisions against Chelsea, but in the game against Liverpool, the way the manager changed things, it worked. And I could say almost the same for the Chelsea game. I just feel like the guys, they're having a tough time out on the field dealing with some of the decisions and how they react to it. And we have known for a while that these guys don't have the greatest, it's not the greatest mentality monsters. But when they're up against the big teams, they kind of show up and they kind of come with that extra fight and that extra bite, which is good. But we want to see that in every single game. And this weekend we're facing Bournemouth away. So it's one of those things where we need to get 3 points because Tottenham is facing a team where they could possibly drop points. The same Arsenal facing Aston Villa, they could possibly drop points. You know what I mean? So you never know what could happen on this match weekend coming up, guys. There's going to be Champions League later on today. You know what I mean? I think Arsenal is gonna lose to Bayern, but a lot of people think Arsenal is gonna win. At the same time, it's all about Manchester United and how we react to the next game. I'm pretty sure in my opinion, from the performances that we've shown, even though we haven't won, I feel like we should walk into that Bournemouth game with our heads held high and be able to come away with 3 points in a comfortable fashion. We lost 3-0 to Bournemouth early on this season, but I felt like that was one of the flukes of this season, and we will definitely be going there to smash them up. We
Man,
will, bro, Yali, I know this was coming, but I'm 100% telling you guys, we are going to smash up Bournemouth, bro. I watched that Bournemouth game, the last couple games with Bournemouth. They're not playing that well. They're looking like a shadow of the team that played against us. They are playing against us. Every single player seems to be having an amazing game, but you know what? We are coming for revenge, right? And I feel this season we ain't score 4-0 yet, We haven't had a big scoring against a team yet this season in the Premier League. And revenge is usually best served cold. So you know what, guys? I'm not going to predict the score just yet because there's a match preview on Thursday. So guys, be there to join me for that. Tomorrow, I'll be doing the scout report as well in the morning, guys. This evening, 10 p.m., I'm going to have the guys on. I'm not sure if Mental is going to be here, but I'm hoping to get Vegeta and the rest of the guys together so we can have a little bit of discussion on where do we go from here and how can we proceed? Where do you see Man United finishing? Excuse me.
ma- can I just say one thing, Mark? When people ask the question, do you see the glass is half full and half empty? You are the guy who would always answer, I see the glass as fully full, not half full. I
Mm.
admire your optimism, man. You are the eternal optimist. I don't know where you get this optimism from for this team, but I admire it. And if it happens, I'll be here for it, man. I'll be happy if it happens. But I don't know where you get this optimism from. All I'll say is, don't do this to yourself. We are not getting Champions League.
No, I
It's
don't
gone
expect
now.
it. No, no, unless fifth place is Champions League. I didn't really know. At this point, I feel like it's tougher to get to fifth and top four than it was 2 weeks ago. We needed to at least win two games. We needed to win the game against Brentford mostly. You know what I mean? Now, the funny thing for me is with this is that I watching football so long. I see so many different United teams and so many different moments with United where a better team with better players went through a rut of games and then suddenly find form win games. A worse United team, in my opinion, suddenly found a unity and went through and completed a run of games. So, for me, football is not something that you could always judge based on the previous game performance sometimes or the previous 2-3 games. Sometimes it's just be a weird situation where, things just happen out of the blue. And this is the fun part about football not being played on paper. So, while I could see that, we're not that team like that we normally would be in the business end, because usually Man United is one of the most clinical teams in English history in the last 15 games. But I see that we have moments where we could create a lot of opportunities. We have players who could score goals, right? We have moments where we seen a new defender emerging in the team that giving a solid performance. That hands down, after that performance, I feel like everybody here is saying, "Hey, this fella had a start on the weekend," and you never know. And with this kind of momentum, and with these kind of things that coming in and happening, sometimes it'll seem all bad, but sometimes it's for the better. And growing pains, you could never articulate. You could never truly say, well, this is how it going to happen, or that is the way it's going to go. And look at Willie Kwambala. And the reason why I was homing in on Willie Kwambala so much is because, like Garnacho last season, he was getting drip fed in the team, one game here, but it's different for a defender because, unless you have a startling performance, it's not like if you're going to get, you're not going to get regular starts, because with the defense, you try to start the same defenders more games than none. So with his performance, yes, in the game on Sunday, I would say to me, if I was Ten Hag, this guy is screaming, start me. You know what I mean? And his performance showing that.
No, I agree. I agree. He had a brilliant performance against Liverpool, and he's rapid, man. His speed amazed me. I didn't know he was that fast. The way when he made that mistake and Nunes latched onto the ball, the recovery pace that he had, that was really good to see. And overall, his game was really good. I mean, he's definitely one for the future.
Yeah, I mean, I see Stephanie come in here and say United need minutes, not moments. It's the midfield chaos that needs fixing, being able to hold and pass the ball comfortably. But this is the one thing I say to everybody: like when you make that statement, we need to hold the ball and pass the ball comfortably. Where is that design coming from? Like, the only team I just see hold that ball in the midfield and pass it around a lot is a Pep Guardiola City team. Well, and in effect, Mikel Arteta Arsenal. Like most other teams, they don't really pay so much focus on keeping the ball in the midfield with us per se midfielder specifically. Sometimes it's be a winger, sometimes it's be an attacker who drop in deep, sometimes it's be a defensive midfielder, sometimes it's be a centre back. So it's one of those things. There are different strokes, there are different styles, there's different way to keep possession, is what I'm trying to say basically. The midfield is not always the only place where possession is kept. And for me, when I look at our team and our design this season, our wingers was who will always be the ones to be expected to keep most of the possession when we in possession of the ball. And if you could tell that by seeing the heat map when it comes to when Rashford, when Garnacho, when Anthony, and all these guys on the field, most of the ball is at their feet. So it's what they do with it that makes the most sense or matters most for Manchester United, and they need to do better on the ball. And I feel like our midfield is not much one of those things set up this season based on the fact that I don't think we have a real formula for players who gonna do all those things that we want them to do. Like, you want the players to be compact, you want them to be very physical, you want them to be able to pass the ball really well and keep possession, and you want them to be press resistant. I feel like we have a decent balance with Bruno, Casemiro, and Kobe, but there's deficiencies in each character because Kobe is young, Casemiro is aging, and well, Bruno, in my opinion, Bruno need a winger who have a bit more high level football IQ. Something like a Vini Jr. or something, or like somebody who willing to
Bruno
move and
needs
run and go into spaces and run the channels regularly, not waiting on the ball. Somebody who not fussing, somebody who have a very high work ethic and work output. So I feel like in situations, some players, not being able to utilize their full capacity based on the teammates that they have as well. So it's not just on a player sometimes, because a football is played on a team, and in a team, every player is supposed to. It's supposed to be like a stacking situation. Like when you add these players together, you get a twofold performance. So like this guy improves this guy, and in so doing makes the performance of that situation a lot better. It's not just having a very good player here, a very good player there, a very good player there, because As you could see in some of the Galacticos teams and at PSG in most occasions, they have got a lot of star players all over the field, but they don't really perform that well. So for me, it's more like with Manchester United, you just want them, you want to get some better performers, but in the same kind of profile to keep a similar balance. So I feel more like this season we were seeing the lack of squad depth, and not just squad depth for having a player sake, but squad depth for having players who could come in and give a similar performance to the player that they're replacing in terms of they fit a similar profile or they have a similar skill set. So it's one of those things where we need to improve on that. It's a rebuild. This is the second season. I didn't expect for us to be challenging for a title this season, to be fair. I was hoping we'd get top four and maybe, win a cup again, maybe defend the Carabao and play another FA Cup final. I also expected us to at least get to the knockout round of the Champions League, but, that wasn't happening. We got a lot of players in their first season this season for Manchester United, and it's always be a rocky thing when players now getting introduced to the league. One of them was Andre Onana, and look how great he has been in recent weeks. So, it's one of those things where we can't we want to fault the team and blame the manager, but there's so many different nuances. I'd really like to use this word, but there's so many nuances with the reasons why the team not performing at peak performance levels this season. Not just It's not really the coach really, but it's more players now having their first season. Some players in their debut season. At the same time, we have a lot of injuries. Sure, the coach have some managerial issues that some mistakes he made. Maybe tactics, maybe game management. But it's not for me. It's not a season where we should be reacting the way we've been reacting all season. Sack this manager. Sack this. Sack this. Sack this. I feel like we were acting a little bit too spoiled as Manchester United fans this season, and we need to take it down and take a step back and realize that we were not that good for a decade, so it's not going to happen in 1 year. You know what I mean?
No, I think the fans didn't start with sack the manager when the results started going bad. The recent wave of sack the manager has started because fans can see that the manager is not fixing the issues that we've been
Yeah,
seeing since the start
it's
of the
not
season.
but it's not a repair shop, mental.
No,
Everybody's
I
saying fix
agree with
the
you. I
issues,
agree.
but
I agree with what you're
you
saying.
see, the
What I'm
problem
saying
is
is,
fix the is when you see the manager not fixing the issues. Yeah, you see, that's where the statement getting a little bit testy for me, where I can't really agree with it. And the reason why I can't agree with that, and it don't make any sense to me, because if you look at the players we have at our availability or available to the team, either fans are assuming that this player is going to do that, or they're hoping that that player could do that. Because
no,
based
no, no,
on
no.
what I
I
see,
don't agree with that, Mark. No,
based on no,
even with the
based, just
players that
hold on,
we
hold
have,
on, hold
listen to
on,
me,
hold
listen to
on,
me
hold
one
on,
minute. No,
hold on one
listen to
second.
me. Let me make my point. So when you say that we are assuming that these players are going to do this job, I agree we might not have good enough players, but the structure that he's putting out on the field is not helping those limited technical players as well. If he makes us compact rather than put five or six people pressing in the opposition box, keep them back, keep two of them back, tell three of
Why?
them to press so
Why?
that we
That's
are
because what
compact,
that's
so
what
that
you
we are
see,
not.
that's the whole problem. And that's what I'm trying to say just now, mental. Everyone have an opinion that they think makes sense, because they want to somehow get the best out of these players who should not be here. And that's the defeating problem, because this manager have a style and have a system, and if the players don't fit the system, why must he keep changing it so that it work for them? Because that makes no sense for me. Klopp didn't have to do that. Pep did not have to do that. Arteta neither. Ange didn't have to do that. Nobody who's a top coach in world football have to do that. You know what has happened? They just replace the players. Just get a player in transfer window to replace them. But at United, suddenly Ten Hag have to fix these players. He have to fix this. Bro, in all honesty, bro, it's come a time when as a manager, you had to look at players and say, bro, you have to do this. If you can't do this, then at the end of the season, you try until the end of the season and then you move on. And this is the reality. And yeah, of course, we don't want to lose games. And yeah, of course, you know, seeing the space in the midfield is a problem. But look at it like this: we all know we have not had centre backs available for most of the season who could actually play the high line. So therefore, they're gonna play a mid block, which is already an alteration to his system to make consideration for the players who lack speed and can't recover. He already altering things. But when he had the midfield compact, and this is what I was saying to Papi last night, when he compact the midfield and he keep those two players back, we don't create much in attack. So then we lack attacking ability going forward. So we might have a compact midfield, but we ain't scoring no goals. And
But
then
we are
you know
not
what
scoring
fans will
goals
say?
right now as
We're
well,
not
Mark.
scoring no goals. We're not creating no chances.
But we are not
So
doing that right now as well.
what you mean we're not doing that right now as well?
We are one of the
Our
lowest
average
scoring
goals
teams in
per
the
game
Premier
is
League.
3. I don't know what you're talking about
We
since
we are.
January.
I'm saying we are the lowest scoring teams in the Premier League this
Bro,
season.
we had one of the highest scoring teams in the Premier League since January. What you talking about?
Since January, I would agree, yes. But if you look at the whole season,
Okay, well, we're talking about the current run of form, bro. So you can't tell me we're not doing that based off of the games that happened in the first half of the season that done gone long time. Because the last current run of form, the last 10, 15 games, we score more. The only people score more goals than us is Arsenal, I think. Arsenal.
not
No
even
one
City,
else. Oh,
not even City.
not even City, bro.
That's surprising.
And I think that's based on on from since January. Because I think Arsenal score like 40 something or 50 goals, and we score like 40 goals. City score like 30 something. Liverpool score like 30 something. You see, you gotta look at it from this perspective, bro. You have to sacrifice some things to gain some things. This is how it's working right now with this team. We don't have we don't have all these players. And look at it like this, right? Look at the Liverpool game where we came back and won the game. Anthony come on, score a goal, had an assist, bring the team back from the brink. True, Ahmad come on and score the last goal, but everybody attribute the game to Ahmad when Anthony is the one who came on and made the game possible for us. Yeah, Ahmad finished the game with that goal. He had a good performance, but the best, if you was to say who had a better game, it would have been Anthony. The game after that, Anthony had an amazing performance against Chelsea. He had an amazing performance. He had a real good performance in the game on Sunday. But people will still say he's rubbish. You understand what I'm saying? So you gotta look at it from the perspective of, you can't always just trash everything. And you can't always just say it based on 20 games because it's how you're taking out context. Because they could say over 20, you could say over 20 games a player is the best player in the world when he score one goal every game, but he played 90 minutes every game and the other 80 minutes he's rubbish. It's
We,
one of
we
those things.
I've just checked, Mark. We are the sixth best team in terms of goal scoring. Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle, City, Aston Villa. Everyone have scored more goals than us since
Aston
January.
Villa score more goals ever since January.
Equal. We are equal. 23. Both Aston Villa and United. Arsenal have scored 38. Liverpool 33. Newcastle have scored 28. City have scored 26. We have scored
Newcastle score
23
more goals than us since January.
since January. Yeah.
Hmm, that's strange.
Yeah, but anyways, I agree with everything you're saying, man, and I like
That's
the
strange.
unity. I like the unity of the team. The fact that he's been able to motivate players to not give up from the first whistle is reason enough for me to think that we should back this guy because previous players and under previous managers, this Liverpool game that we had this weekend would have been an easy 4-0, 5-0 to Liverpool. So just the fact that we put up a fight and we drew that match and we could have easily won that match unless other than the fact that they got a dodgy penalty. I think there's something there that we need to back, and I personally want to give him one more year, man. I want to see what he can do because I know this manager is better than what we are seeing at the moment. I agree he hasn't got the players. I
When he
agree
played
there's
the
been
games,
so
yeah.
many injuries. But I mean you would agree that we should have done much better than we have. Even though he's had everything going on, we still could have done much better than
I
what
don't
we
think
have in the
so.
league.
I mean, okay. If you take away the if you add all the situations happen this season minus the injuries, of course we could do better. But if you're factoring in injuries with with all the rubbish that was happening around the season, I don't think we could have do much better. I don't think any manager would have do a better job. I being real honest. And you know when I say that, look at City, bro. Everybody's talk about City like they're the best team in England, bro. City hasn't been first for since when? Since what? Since what? September, October. City in third. City probably not going to win the league this season. They just won a treble. Everybody said they're the best team. Their levels about everybody else. They can't sniff first place right now, right?
Yeah, but would you rule them out winning another treble at this moment? They could
Yeah,
easily
bro.
win the
I
league.
telling you. Like City not even sure to win this game tonight. They're probably going to Madrid and hold four. I don't know if
I
anybody
wouldn't
really
rule
think
out
that
City.
City gonna beat Madrid in the Bernabeu when they only ever do it once, and every other season they get smashed from Real Madrid. Every other season. So one season they beat Madrid, now they will always beat Madrid. I think that's mad.
No, I agree that they're not playing as good as they can or as good as the previous seasons, but I wouldn't rule them out.
Bro. I if bro. Anyway, let me not say that. Let me not argue that because City is not the team, and at the end of the day, I still feel like they probably might not win anything this season. That's just how I feel about City, and I've been feeling like that a while. And
I'm just hoping for 2 good days now, man. Just 2 good days. One should be easy, Coventry, but then in the final, I'm just hoping for a good day and luck to be on our side and the decisions to go our way. Let's
well,
just hope we win the FA Cup.
it's a tough situation, bro. And let me be real, like I not gonna hype it up too much, but at the same time, I looking at it like we'll probably beat Coventry, go to the final, and whoever we face there, we'll have a good game. This is not in a way like this is how I look at it. A United side are not performing great in sixth. Imagine if this United side was performing average good all season. We'd have definitely clearly be in top four. And that's the only way, and that's the only way I would not say, you know, we should back the manager because if you look at it, we're not performing well at all. We're not performing well or consistently, and we're in sixth. So we could say we should be in 10th, we could say we should be in 8th, we could say we should be in 12th, but we're in 6th. So
Yeah,
if we minus the biggest problems this season for me is the injuries. I don't care about you see all these stuff that happen in it with the media. That has always happened every year. It's always have some kind of drama going on with United every season. You know what I mean? So the external things for me should don't impact the season, but the things that impact the season should be the stuff that basically like the players, having the players you need, or a good rotation of a squad, to fulfill. Because if you look at it, 31 centre back pairings, bro, or 32, that's a lot. That's almost a centre back pairing a different centre back pairing every game, and no team in Europe have that. No team.
yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Sorry, I've got to drop off, mate, but
Yeah, yeah, bro, big up. I'm
good
about to
chat,
drop
man.
off
Thanks
as
for
well.
having me again.
No problem,
Cheers.
bro. Anytime. And guys, you know what? It's not probably manager stream, but Eric Ten Hag Defense League all day. So I will always say try to put it out in that way. But at the same time, being realistic, guys, we have a very good structure coming in, and I feel like we could not choose a better manager to give a chance or a season under this new structure than Eric Ten Hag. And he already at the club, he's already implementing certain changes. Let's keep the changes in progression and keep it going. Let's not stop the process to restart again. It's not high time to stop. It's high time to keep pushing forward. And it might not be great, but it will get better. And you know what, guys? It's one of those things where, we might not like it, or we might feel a little bit hurt emotionally or egotistic. The ego might not be stroking, but at the same time, what I mean, a little good with the bad, a little bad with the good. And who knows, by this time next season, we could be talking about, hey, we could get a season title this season, or We in Champions League knockout, we play in semi-finals. You never know, guys. But progression is needed, and Ten Hag staying brings stability. So while a lot of people might say, sack Ten Hag, this manager not good, in my honest opinion, Liverpool's supposed to be the best team. They couldn't beat us once this season. In fact, we beat them in 3 times, and we beat them once, and we should have beat them twice at Old Trafford. But they needed help from VAR, and a lot of teams this season needed help from VAR and good luck on their side in order to beat Manchester United, while we always had to implode for them to beat us. So, guys, take some positivity from the boy Mark, and just enjoy the ride. Hopefully we end up in fifth at the end of the season, or maybe scrape top four if the other teams above us drop more points, which seemingly might be happening this weekend and the next. But it's Champions League tonight, so I don't know if you guys are watching that, but Manchester United is not playing, so I'm not that interested. But I think City is going to lose. I hope you guys have a great day. Big up to all of you joining me. It's been your boy MarkN, MUFC fan. Yeah, the VR inconsistency. Bend the VR referees, get some new guys in the building. Maybe they should look to some international assistants, guys who have, that objectivity, because they don't have a dog in the fight. You never know. But let's hope for some consistency and some improvement going forward. It's been your boy. Don't forget to smash those likes and subscribe. Thank you for joining me. Hope you have a great day. Glory, glory, Manchester United.